Do I want to live a life? Do I want to live a life where I'm just going through by the day, getting up, going to work, or taking care of my family and then go to sleep? Just a routine? Or do I want to live a life that's of value? So yes, it's about unlearning, but on the other hand too, transformation also has to do with learning, because you're learning a new way of doing things. So what does that word really mean, transformation? It goes beyond change, because transformation is really an alignment within. It's an internal shift, something that happens within us, because we've sat down to really think through, who am I? Why am I here? What's my purpose? All right, what are my values? How do my values align with my purpose? That way I can set goals that matter to me. And then what is change? Change is something that we have to maintain. Okay, I want to change how I do this. For example, I want to change how I eat, right? We have to maintain it because we have to stick to that recipe. But in order to be transformed with our eating habits, for example, we really have to know the reason why we want to lose weight. Is it just to look good? Or is it that I want to live a healthy lifestyle? That's where that transformation comes in. Or is it about a job? I want to grow in my career. Where do you want to go in your career? What are those things you're thinking about? What is it that gives you joy? What is it that brings you that fulfillment? It goes back to, yes, somebody's putting in a comment in there. No, what's your why? Because that's how we experience transformation. Due to that internal shift, it's a change of appearance. I don't do things I used to do anymore because I have a connection within, a conviction within that this is what I need to do. And it does not matter what anybody thinks. I believe it. I stand firm on it. And I'm pursuing that goal because it aligns, again, to my why. It aligns to my purpose. That's how, and that's what real transformation is.
I love that response, Dr. Hope, because there is so much depth inside of that response. You talk about the purpose, the values, the alignment, and maintaining the change. So I want to connect another question to that. And I want to think about the mind or the mindset, because we hear the mind and the mindset going around so often. It's all about the mindset and it's all about the mind. So I want to ask you, what role or what part does the mind or the mindset plays in the achievement of the goals and by extension in transformation?
That's a good one too. Oh my goodness. Our minds really detects what we do. It's either we're thinking positive about the goal that we have, or we're thinking negative about the goal we have. So a mindset, it's really a notion that we hold over a goal. So if we are thinking negative, I have a goal that I'm pursuing, I am not all the way in, 100% into that goal, tell you what, the result is going to show just like that. It's going to show incomplete because I was not all the way in. My mindset was not all in. I was not excited about the goal. But can you imagine if I'm all in on a goal? I'm excited. I am motivated. I'm thinking positively that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, because that's my own testimony, that nothing stops me. So our mindset, whether it's a growth mindset or a fixed mindset, will always detect the outcome. So what we think of ourselves matter. What we say to ourselves matter. If I say, today's going to be a great day, I am going to achieve this goal, guess what? My mind is connected to that thought, and the outcome will be successful because my mind is connected. But if I allow self-doubt with those negative thoughts, the chatters that come and say, man, you did not do this last time. You did not do well last time. Or you were so nervous last time. You were not successful. You did not speak well last time. Or I did not get that job. Or we did not achieve that business goal last time. And we allow those thoughts to detect how we achieve a goal. We're defeated already. So our mindset plays a big role to our transformation. Yes, our thoughts, our behaviors. They're coming and I love it.
I am loving it too. Ladies and gentlemen, I did see some persons joining the room after we started. And if you are one of those persons, we are actually talking tonight with Dr. Hope. And we're talking about transformation through the power of goals. That's our message around the fireside tonight. And she has already admitted that we can be transformed through goals. We have to know the why. We have to have a purpose, some values. We have to align them. So the conversation is continuing. And I want to ask you, Dr. Hope, because many a times I hear that a goal is not a goal until it is written. A goal is not a goal until it's written. What's your thought on that then? What exactly is a goal? And maybe you could describe what is a simple goal and what is a more challenging goal.
You know, I'm a firm believer in writing down goals. Because for me, when I write down my goal, there's something about it connecting with my brain. And for me, it's that I believe in what I'm getting ready to do. Why? Because my goal is important. So if your goal is important to you, you write it down, because when you write it down, you will remember. You will remain motivated to pursue that goal. And what is a goal? A goal is simply something that you are looking forward to achieving. It's something that matters to you. An example of that could be, I want to grow in my career. I want to advance in my career. That's a big goal and it's broad. But how do you make that goal powerful? You make it powerful by really sitting down, reflecting and saying, okay, where do I want to go in my career? I've been in my role for 5-10 years. I'm ready for the next level. So you write it down and be very specific. Have an idea. What's the next level? Not that I want to go be a VP or a president right off the bat if you're at entry level. So it's important to also be realistic about the goal that you set, because you don't want to set a goal that is unrealistic or challenging and you're not able to achieve it. So to make it really simple, a goal is something that you're looking forward to achieve and you're working towards achieving it. When you write down that goal, your brain is connected to it because you wrote it down. Your actions is also connected. And the best part of it all too, Dr. Janice, is that you get to talk about it. Because when you talk about your goals, you're accountable to yourself. Because there will be people that you share your goal with, and they might not be excited about your goal. So you also have to be careful. Who are the people you're sharing your goal with? Are they people that will support you when you're not doing your part? Are there people that will hold you accountable? That is why it's very important to know your tribe. Have your tribe, people that you count on, people that will hold you accountable in a life-giving way. Not being critical, but holding you accountable in a life-giving way. So when you talk about it, you speak about it, you have people that will remind you, say, Hope, you said you want to do this by the end of the month. Where are you at? And these are people that you have given permission to do so. You've given them permission to speak into your life, to help you walk the walk, because alone, we cannot do it. We need people. We need a community of people that believe in us. That way we can achieve our purpose, because our goals are all connected to our purpose, believe it or not. It's all connected. So to that question, please write it down, because then you will not forget. For me, if I leave it in my brain, I'm going to forget it. I'm going to forget it by tomorrow. What does that mean? That means that goal did not matter. But when I take the time to seriously sit down and write and reflect on it, I'm in business and we're getting ready to do some work.
Yes, yes, and yes. Something that matters to you. That is so important. A goal must be something that matters to you. Dr. Hope, I want to go back a little bit into that question that you just answered there a minute ago, because the thought is that your action is really your bank account or your security that stands behind your goal. I know you named some actions, write it down, and a few others, but what are some specific actions, including those two that you have named, that backs your goal, that act as security behind your goal? Because people want to know that when I make a goal, I have something I can literally take to the bank to ensure that this goal or these goals come to fruition. Because, Dr. Hope, it is said that many goals or most goals fall apart by the second month. When you make like these New Year goals and things, they fall apart by the second month. Why? Because they have no backing behind them, the actions. So talk to us about what are some of those actions that must back the goals to ensure that they do not fall apart so easy.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a very good question. Some mistakes that we make in life is trying to pursue too many goals at one time. So how do you make your goal powerful? That way they do not fall off the wayside. How do you start with that goal and then get to the finish line? Number one is really think about what you want. Give yourself the permission to think. Don't rush through this, because this is about your life. This is about your future. Think, what do you want? What do you want to achieve in life? Because having that clarity gives you that vision. It eliminates confusion because you know exactly what matters to you. After you have gained clarity on what you want, my process is write it down. What do you want to achieve? Write it down. After you've written it down, kind of give yourself a timeline. What's that target deadline that you want to meet? When do you want to have this thing done by? Write it down again. After you've written that down, the next step is really look at what are the challenges that I might face, that you might face in accomplishing this goal. Identify it and be very honest. Be upfront. Don't hold anything back. It's kind of like a brain dump. Put it all down. Don't think too hard. Well, will I have enough money to do this? Will I have the capital? Don't even think, will my friends laugh at me if I fail? None of that. Write down what those challenges are. And then the next thing is your mindset. Let's go back to your why. Your mindset will be ready for this when you remember your reason for wanting to achieve that goal. Because when you set that goal, that thing I told you to think really about, it's something that's going to bring that transformation because you believe in it. A good example could be starting a business. I give you my personal example. Before I started my own business, I had to really think about it. I said, this is what I want to do. This is whom I want to serve. This is how I want to do it. And this is when I want to start. Because your why is going to connect with your mindset. Because when it gets to that mindset level, when those thoughts come, because it's going to come, you're going to make it. You won't make it. You already know your why. You remind yourself, all right, this is why I'm doing this. Nothing is going to stop me from doing this. If you need a skill for that goal that you wrote down, research, ask questions. That's why I talked earlier about having a community of people that you trust. Talk to them, share your ideas with them. If it means going back to school, then go back to school. If it means getting certified, then get the right certification. If it means getting a training or completing an online course to help you be competitive, to help you, have that confidence, then do what it needs to be done. Do what needs to be done, and then take that first step. It's a process. When you take that first step, the next step, keep going. Don't stop. In order for your goal not to fall off the wayside, you always have to go back to your why. Why am I doing this? Why is this goal important to me? Because if you're not able to answer that question, then you don't have a goal yet. You don't have a goal yet. But if you are able to know your why, you know your purpose, why do I want to get into that job? Why do I want that position? Why do I need to move or relocate? Why do I need to start my business? Why do I need to start a ministry? Why do I want to start a family? If you don't know your why, if you're doing it just because others are doing it, it's not going to last. But talking about that transformation that we're talking about, it's got to be right from within you, from your gut. This is you, your authentic you, that when you feel down, you remember your why, you get back up. When you feel sad, when you face challenges, you remember your why, you keep going. Because success does not happen overnight. The big results that we're looking for does not happen overnight. It's a process, and it requires consistency. If we were to achieve everything we wanted within seconds, then we wouldn't have goals. There will be nothing to work for. There will be nothing to believe for. We wouldn't even have to have a why. Why? Because anything we wanted, we would get it right away. So, but all of us here know that for success to come, we have to keep at it. If we fall, we learn the lesson, we get back up, we keep going. So those tips are tips that have helped me in my own personal life, in my professional life, in my business, and it worked time and time again.
Wow. I am actually writing, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you are writing too, because these are not just tips. These are potent gems that you can pick up every day, one of them, two of them, three of them, and use them to go through that day to make sure that you are not stagnant, you're not stationary, but you are moving forward in purpose. She talked about the why. Your why has to be big enough in order for you to achieve any goal in your life. There must be clarity, and she was just dropping these gems, and I hope that we are getting them. And I know I see a few persons came in after we started again. We are talking with Dr. Hope. Dr. Hope has joined us tonight talking about transformation through the power of goals. Transformation through the power of goals. And she is a career strategist, a life coach, confidence coach. And she helps corporate professionals and executives to overcome their fear and gain confidence to advance their goals. And she is dropping the gems in this room tonight, telling us how to make sure that we are not just changed, we are transformed through the power of goals. Dr. Hope, I want to ask you this question because persons are listening to us tonight and they are saying, well, I can just set a goal if I want to set a goal. And what's so big about setting a goal? I can achieve a goal. I want to talk to you about performance and process. How does performance and process, how do these two words shape up or align themselves alongside goals to ensure that these goals become both transformative and powerful?
That's a good one, because performance and process, they go hand in hand. If you want to experience transformation, you've got to have performance, got to have a process. Those two things equal transformation if done the right way. So what is really performance? Let's start from there and break that down. And performance is really about identifying a specific thing that you want to achieve. And this is, yet again, going back to that goal. So your performance goal is what I want to achieve. And process is identifying the strategy that you intend to use in order to perform that goal, to achieve that goal. So without a process, it's hard. You're missing out. Without having a clear process on how to get to performance, nothing is going to work out. So it's not enough to have a goal. It's not enough. Yes, I have this goal, because many people, I don't know about you, but before I knew what I know now, I would write a goal down and I say, yep, I'm done. Off I go. But that is not it. But I have come to know, thank God for experience, I have come to know that when you write a goal, you have to have a process behind that goal. What does that process look like? Okay. I'm a firm believer with SMART goals. I'm very specific, measurable. How am I going to measure this goal? How will I attain this goal? What steps will I take to attain the goal? Remember when I talked about challenges earlier on? What are those challenges? What are some things that I can do to overcome those challenges? And when you are setting up your process, this is between you and that paper, because you've set aside time, a dedicated time for this task, because this is for you. This is also self-care, because you're caring about your future. You're caring about your tomorrow. You're caring about your purpose. So putting in the time, giving yourself permission to have that time to develop your process is worth millions beyond money, because you're doing something that's going to lead to your transformation. So when you set out the processes, the steps that you're going to take, you're going to be able to see clearly the path that you're taking, weekly, monthly, to the timeline of when you're actually looking at achieving that goal. And the performance at the achievement is what you wanted to achieve. So performance and process are really connected to each other. And yet again, it's also tied back to that big why. Because in order to find out or achieve your why, you have to discover, okay, the processes, the steps to take. That way, you're not falling off the crack. That way, you're not distracted, because we have busy lives. We have so many distractions that pop up day in, day out. When we have a process, then we've set boundaries around that process, because we're focused. Even when others say, nope, you should not be doing that. You already know your why. You already have your reason for pursuing that process. You stay on track. You might fail. That's okay. What's the purpose of failing? You don't stay stuck. You learn the lesson. You step back up. You try another strategy. That's why it's called process. Businesses use different processes in order to achieve goals. They try one strategy, it doesn't work, they try another one. They stay creative. We also, as individuals, whether in our personal lives or professional lives, we owe that to ourselves, to be creative, to stay alert, to stay vigilant, to find ways to learn and not stay stuck based on what we know. We have to be open to learning, because we have mentors in our lives that say, hey, have you thought about this? And we have to be open to that, to say, okay, let me try that. Because if we close ourselves up from learning different strategies, then we are closing ourselves up from actually growing. And we're missing out on opportunities. So performance and process go hand in hand. Have clarity on what that performance looks like, and have clear steps on what your process is to get to that goal.
we close ourselves from learning different strategies, we're actually closing ourselves from growing. That's a powerful one indeed. So we have to ensure that we remain open for the different strategies for growth. But Dr. Hope, somebody may be listening and they're saying, but everything in life has barriers and things that prevent you. Somebody's saying, what are some things that I can look out for that would prevent me from really getting to the transformation or the transformative goals in my life?
That's a good one. Some things that pop up, those barriers. You know, lack of clarity is a big one. Because if you don't have clarity on what you want, and what is really lack of clarity, it's being confused. It's like in the middle of nowhere. You feel like you're not going up, you're not growing, you feel like you're stagnant. I understand how that feels. So not having clarity can be a barrier to you experiencing transformation. Another thing could be uncertainty. You're uncertain. Is this really where I want to go? I'm not sure. If you experience that, that's definitely going to hold you back from growing. A negative mindset. If you don't see the good in what you are doing, in what you're aspiring for. Remember how we talked about mindset from the beginning? The notions we hold. If we constantly hold a negative notion about growth, we're not going to grow. Fear of failure. You know, I'm afraid, I don't want to fail. But that, you know, fear, a good friend of mine once said, fear stands for false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. So if we think of things that pop up in our head that are all connected to fear, they're only appearing real, but they're not real. Our thoughts, our feelings, sometimes our feelings lie to us. Our feelings will lie and say, that person was laughing at me, or that person doesn't like me, or they did not like my presentation, or they don't like my business. Our feelings lie. So if we pay attention to our feelings will definitely be a barrier to our growth. All right, another thing, perfectionism. We want to be perfect in everything we do. We do not want to miss the mark. We don't want to make mistakes. But here's the deal though, when we make mistakes, we grow, we learn, we get better and better. I am open to making mistakes. I was not always that way, but I have learned in my journey that just go with the flow. My children remind me all the time, Mom, go with the flow. I have learned that when I go with the flow, I learned so much. So same thing with goals, transformation. Go with the flow. Even when those negativity comes in, ignore them because you know you're greater than that. You're better than that. You know you are victorious. You know you are a winner. Comparison is another one. When we begin to compare ourselves to other people, not good. You know, we're waiting to be validated. We want our friends or people to validate what we're doing. But we should be our own biggest cheerleaders. Why? Because we know our why. We know our purpose. We know why we're doing what we're doing. So we must be our own cheerleaders. Even when others don't cheer us up, that's okay. Our happiness, our success is not based on that. It's based on our purpose. And we keep going because we're touching lives. You are making an impact wherever you are, wherever you go.
These are indeed some critical points, Dr. Hope. And I have been taking note of them because I have to mention them again. The comparison, the perfectionism, the lack of clarity, the uncertainty, the fear. These are real barriers
Yeah.
that we have to cross. These are real barriers that we have to cross. And if we don't cross these barriers, then transformation may not be possible. We will just be going around and around. Thank you so much for highlighting these barriers, because these are, as I said, critical, past important, critical, that we know that these are some of the things that stand before us. So as we come down, Dr. Hope, because I promise I will leave some time for the audience to ask some questions. How does someone really identify transformation when they have been working on goals for periods of time? What are some things that they can use to say, well, now I'm in the stage of transformation?
That's good. How do you know when you're experiencing transformation? One thing you'll notice is that you no longer care what people say. You embrace the new you. You are bold. You're confident. You're happy. You make decisions that matter to you. Things that used to bother you before no longer bother you. That's transformation. That's different. If you had fear of stepping out and you no longer experience that fear, that is transformation right there. If you start that business that you had been dreaming about, or you start looking for that job that you had been planning on starting, that's transformation. That means you're ready. You're in the process of getting to the next level of life. So those are a few things that, this is different. I've been working on myself. I've been stepping out of my comfort zone. That's transformation. Absolutely. Especially the part that you don't have to wait for people to say, why did you do this? Or, wow, that looks good. It's like you're losing weight. And then people notice that you're losing weight. That's transformation by itself, because you're not waiting to receive the cheers. You're not waiting to be praised, but you're saying enough is enough. I am ready for what's next for me. And you're stepping up boldly and doing what needs to be done. That's transformation by itself. And you should give yourself grace. You should celebrate. When you experience that transformation, celebrate those moments. Don't take it for granted. Don't take it lightly. Celebrate every win. Celebrate your growth, because there's more growth. And we never stop growing.
Wow. And wow. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you that this was a night that we needed to be here, because we are getting what we needed to hear. This is a place where we come to build people and change lives. You talked about no longer care. Embrace that new you. You become bold and confident and happy and more desirous of the things that you need. This one hit me. You no longer wait for permission. Wow. That's when you know that you're transformed. You better take those down, because if you're not having those things happening in your life, then you're still not yet at the place of transformation. And that is where we all want to get to, Dr. Hope. That place of transformation, not setting goals year after year after year and coming back around to them. We want to make sure that these goals, that we are transformed through the power of these goals. Thank you for sharing that. This last part here is my takeaway. And I'm going to repeat them again. You no longer care. You no longer seek permission. You embrace the new you. That's when you know that you're transformed. Ladies and gentlemen,
it's good.
That deserves.
It's good stuff. It's good.
Yes, that's good stuff. That's good. I'm going to hurry along, because as I said before, I want to make sure that I leave some time. So I want you to share, Dr. Hope. Someone is still saying, I want to be transformed. And I'm still not sure how to start and what to do next. So in everything that you have said before, because somebody in here needs a change, and not just a change, somebody needs a transformation. Somebody has been going around the mill for too long, and that person is saying, I want this transformation. So I want you to sum it up before I go to the audience. Sum this up. What is your advice?
So to that person who is still thinking and wanting to be transformed, one question I would ask you is, if money was not an object, what is that thing that you would do that would bring you joy? Think about that and then write it down. Next thing I'm going to ask you is, why does it matter to you? And if you did it, what impact will you bring? Think about that. Don't stress about it. Just write it down. And that thing that gives you joy is what I would encourage you to start off with. Just write down one goal. I did not say 2. I did not say 3. I said just 1. Start off with just 1. Write it down. What is it going to take for you to accomplish that goal? What can you do today? What one thing can you do towards that goal today? Take a step forward. That's how it starts. Just 1. Don't think about 10 things. Don't complicate it. Just think about one thing, that thing that gives you joy. And think about one thing that you can do today or tomorrow to take action on that one thing. And I promise you that if you start with just one thing, at the end of this month, you're going to have a reason to start with the second goal. But one goal at a time. Don't overcomplicate it. Just one goal at a time. I promise you, you will see, you will experience that transformation that you're looking for. And all of the things that we've talked about today will make so much sense. It will all connect. And you will get up bold, excited about what you've achieved.
Wow. Wow, wow, and wow. Dr. Hope, where can persons find you? Because I'm sure there's persons who said, whether by listening in here now or by hearing the replay or by seeing it on the different medias, somebody's going to be saying, where can I find this lady? I need to connect with this lady. I need that transformation in my life. How can they find you?
So one way you can find me, there are a couple of ways you can find me. One of those ways would be on LinkedIn. And if you just look for me, Hope Udamban on LinkedIn. You can also join my Living Courageously Facebook group. We have a group on Facebook. It's called Living Courageously. And you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. And it's Dr. Hope Solutions at Dr.Hope Solutions. That's the handle for that. Or my website, www.drhopesolutions.com. So those are some of the ways that you can definitely locate me to experience that transformation that we talked about today.
Wonderful. And ladies and gentlemen, let me just add to that. Here at the fireside, we have the information for you to connect with any of the guests that comes onto this program. So if you are not able to remember, just ask, because we're ready to put you in contact with this person, these persons who can help you to change your lives. And here Dr. Hope talked about transformation through the power of goals. And we're coming to that period again when persons are going to start thinking about goals that they want to set for the new year. And I'm saying to you, don't wait for the new year. Start now. Start now. Start right where you are. She said, just one, not 2, not 10. Start with one simple goal. And when you have started with that one, soon you'll find that you take on another and another, and the process continues. Dr. Hope, thank you so very much for really coming here and dropping these powerful gems tonight. about transformation through the power of God. And we're not done yet, because I'm positive that there are some comments or even questions in the chat